Hello and welcome to the Friday, June 2nd, 2023 edition of the Contributor Comms team meeting. Reminder, we do operate under a code of conduct, which basically says to be respectful of your fellow speakers and attendees and generally be excellent to each other. We usually like to offer a moment here at the beginning of the meeting for anyone new to the meeting to introduce themselves. I don't think anyone new is on today. I'll hold for a second. All right. So starting with updates and big wins, I see that we have Arnaud on, so we'll do that. But I did want to mention that funding for Buffer, for Mastodon for Buffer is confirmed.
Nice.
Yeah. So we can talk more about that later, but
Yeah, we need to move
Fastly
the
article stuff.
Oh yeah. Let's talk that.
Yeah. What's up, Arnaud and Frederica?
Hey, I think I answered to the two comments I saw in the document, so I just want to know if we can cover that document as a markdown ready to go in the website, because
I haven't saw your answer. Did you answer?
yeah, I basically put like I just rephrased the sentence you were mentioning as a suggestion. I'm bad at Google Docs, so I don't know if you saw that or something.
I mean, I've asked you to, so I've been adding topics to the threads, so I'm going there right now. So reply in a second.
There's a thread in the Slack.
Let's take a step back for me to understand where we are. I made a series, and Chris as well, a series of initial comments. Then I actually went and did actual changes in the document in terms of adding sections, a structure, different structure, etc. And I asked you in the threads, which I will share here.
Yeah, whatever you added is good. It's surprising the change. You didn't see the difference in the change. That's weird. Anyway, whatever you did is great. So we can just follow up on that.
Okay,
Chris,
that's enough.
Yeah, and then Chris also had a question. I gave some kind of response. I don't know if it's enough for you to.
Let me see. Open it.
So I'll proceed with the markdown and I will open the PR with this version. Is that okay? Perfect.
Yeah, that's good. We can get more review.
Yes, then we get more review. One that I think would be obvious is that we need to fill in the fix me's, and so there is that topic around the date, right? Which we have a placeholder.
So we don't have a preference of the date. Basically, we just need to basically say, yeah, let's say July 2024. July 24, or like whatever date is fine for us.
Okay, I'll add July 24.
Yeah,
and then if that can be subject to discussion there as well, but at least we have something.
Yeah. So it's like it's a Monday, so we would just do the flip in Monday, Paris time. Yeah, my time. So yeah, I think it's fine.
We should do it like Friday at night.
Hey, we gave you a notice. Exactly. No work hours, but we gave you notice.
I'm sure that'll
be universally hated,
Yeah, let's be the most hated sub-project for a moment.
All righty. Anything else on the Fastly article? Sounds like you're moving along.
No, not really. I think now it's like what's the I'm just follow Federico on publishing the blog post, and that's it.
First, that's considered. I'll take a stab at it today. So I'll share the PR. Anyone that has contributed there, tell me, because I need to add them to the queue author. So obviously Arnaud and Chris, but I'm not sure because I think that a lot of people could have made changes without necessarily marking them, like I did, so for example. So ping me, anyone that's hearing, if they did any kind of change there, and I'll add them as co-authors in the at least in the commit. I don't know if you want to add to change the authorship of the blog itself.
I don't. I honestly don't know. I would like.
No worries, no worries. Yeah, it's up. You're there, so we'll track that. No worries there. I'll share with you the link for the PR, and I will ask you for your review in the GitHub, and we'll take it from there.
Can you share are you hacking Dean this first?
Yeah, so that's a good one, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
Does it make sense for us to go through HackMD first? Because I understand the idea, but in my last experiences with it, I always got zero feedback on the HackMD file.
Oh, okay.
Because most of the people that will say something like Tim will are more than okay with submitting stuff in Git, because that's where he spends most of his time.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So, and we already had the discussion around the Google Doc. So
yeah,
I can do it.
Yeah. I just want to address Arnaud's thing here. His one comment that he made to me on my question. I just want to make sure that's incorporated in here. That's all. And I can do that right after the meeting. Actually, no, I can't. I can do that right after my next meeting.
But well, there's nothing lost because I need to do the markdown. So I can create an HackMD today, and then early next week, open the PR. And this gives us 2-3 days just for anyone to actually do any kind of markdown flavor changes to it. So there's nothing lost. So let's follow the process then, and I'll do it like that.
Cool, thanks.
Y'all are crushing it at max capacity. Excellent. All right. So we'll move on from that. Sound good?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So like I mentioned, funding for Mastodon on Buffer is confirmed. So we can go ahead and set that up.
Sweet. I'll make that happen right now.
Cool.
Well, yeah.
Another item that came up in the last week, slightly plus, on Friday last week, I guess. The prod readiness survey. This is a survey that they need contributors to fill out. So we sent it out on the Kate's contributors account, and it's gotten some traction, but they said that they wanted more traction than that. So there's probably more that we could do there.
Yeah, I mean, we need to potentially get some of our larger audience folks to mention it.
Have they sent it? Yes, it looks like they have sent a message out to KDev. They had a link to that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we just need folks to boost it, I think.
Oh, actually, that was fine. Oops. Yeah, because they sent this out to KDev. So boosting it further, ideas. We could mention it in SIG ContribEx. We could mention it in other specific SIG Slacks.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Maybe we should ask them which, if any, SIGs are particularly important for this and do pings in there. You know, it'd be great for this. The Slack bot.
The Slack bot, I know. Our tooling.
Slack bot still borked.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that's a good next step, though, is ask which SIGs are particularly affected and which ones we should reach out to.
Yeah, let's narrow that down for sure. And then I'll rally some individuals to boost a message.
And Arnaud had a comment in the chat, other machine learnings like the CNCF machine learnings. I don't know what
No.
ML stands for in this case.
Well, yeah, wait, what?
Mailing list, sorry.
Mailing list,
mailing
got
list.
it. Okay, sorry.
So,
Living in the world
Yeah.
of generative AI.
Yeah. I found that amusing.
you know what? We could just basically drop something in ChatGPT and other instance will just
That
take care
is
of
true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good suggestion. Thank you, Arnaud. I should look into that. I don't know the best way to look into that. I don't know what mailing lists exist.
Go
Beyond
to
ours.
list.cncf. I
That's
think
good.
is the right answer.
Yeah, I think the main one is like enough.
Yeah, CNCF list.cncf.io/groups. Show you who
Flash
you're
groups.
part of. And then there's a Kubernetes one, I think, too. I forget. No, this is just CNCF. Fuck, never mind.
It's a fair point, Avinash. Chatbots, machine learning.
Mhm.
There's definitely a connection there. It's like I need to log in to look at the lists.
Probably,
I'll
yeah.
have to look into that. Okay, there's some ideas. Let's try to do some more promotion of that. Moving on from that item, Sujay had a PR in. I don't think he's on today, but Sujay had a PR in to fix some upstream marketing text in some various places to contributor comms. I also realized as I was approving that PR that is like a SIG ContribEx level PR, so I have that access because of that. So I had done a couple of reviews on that, suggested some changes. He had finished all of that a bit ago, and I finally got that approved. So thank you, Sujay, even though you're not here. And a topic that's been on our notes for the last couple of meetings, but Avinash is on today, events lead. There was one thing that came up. I think Avinash, you weren't there last week, but one thing that came up that would be an events lead thing is Twitter Spaces. We have a Kate's contributors Twitter account, but we have literally never thought about Twitter Spaces. Someone in one of the last meetings mentioned that. I should have written down who said that. It was a very smart idea. What do you think about the idea of Twitter Spaces, Avinash?
See, I think the idea is good, but the only concern that I see with Twitter Spaces, it's live. And do you want to go live and talk about Kubernetes and sensitive topics, keeping in mind that you don't speak things which are not, which will create some havoc.
Yeah, there is some precedent for this actually. We used to have like Meet Our Contributors sessions, which would be live. I think they were on YouTube live stream sessions, where Paris would interview maintainers and folks could like ask questions and stuff. We also used to have like office hours, where folks would be on live to answer questions. So there's definitely precedent for doing live Kubernetes content, contributor maintainer content. So I think as far as is live
nothing wrong
streaming
with that.
okay, I think it could be, depending on what we want to do with it.
Right.
I would personally love the idea, honestly, and I would participate in it.
Cool. So Frederic goes into the idea. What kinds of topics would we want to cover? Would we want to like have SIG chairs on to interview them? Would we want to just say to the community, we're holding a space on this day. Come if you want to chat. Should we try to treat it like the community meeting and try to like line up topics to talk about? How much work do we want to put into this?
Yeah, I don't know how much investment we should put into Twitter. It'd be nice if we could come up with like a bi-weekly or a monthly kind of space where like there's some planned content, there's some office hours vibe to it. But yeah, it's feasible. I just want to make sure that we have a good content plan for it. You know, and
It
cadence
kind of feels like a
matters.
podcast too.
Yeah, and
We'd probably
cadence
have one
matters.
person always doing it, and then maybe they'd have guests.
We could do it that way. Do it hosts, however we want to do it. But like I said, I wouldn't want to necessarily over rotate on Twitter right now. I think they've got some really big issues in the EU, and that could seriously like limit our audience potentially.
Yeah. You know, it would be helpful if we went the just say that the Twitter space is happening and see what contributors show up route.
Yeah,
The Slack bot.
it's yeah. Yeah, I do like the idea, right? Like we could do a SIG spotlight live as a Twitter space and then convert it to a blog.
I do like that idea. Though it's always hard to convert the like conversation to a blog, so that might not actually happen, but great idea.
It's an idea, right? Like if you can post a transcript somewhere, basically, right? Like that's basically the goal there. I don't want to necessarily invest too much time on interviewing and then turning that into a blog because it's hard. We've done that.
Yeah, we could do we could do kind of a lightweight version of our SIG spotlights and put it on Dev instead of
yeah
site.
And even well, and that's a great idea, but we can even expand it to be even not. It doesn't necessarily need to be about a specific SIG. If we could find, for example, some project, etc., especially someone who has a large follower count, because we were talking about making this somewhat more known. I think that we could like make a space about, let's talk a bit with X that and learn how we start to contribute to Kubernetes, and also if you have any, if you want to learn how to join and how can we help join in, and we were there. So maybe it sort of depends, but in the Twitter spaces that I've been to, there's this, so there's a topic, but there's the actual structure and preparation is reasonably light, right? It's like we have a couple of people, let's talk about the topic, and then it mostly opens up to questions and answers from the community, which I think it's actually fine, because I don't think that we should like spend lots of time preparing stuff, right? We should have something, but if it works, fine. If it only lasts 20 minutes, it's fine as well. It's not like the end of the world.
We could also offer it up to the book club and other contributor groups within the community. Like, hey, whatever book club is left.
That's the Chris idea around the spotlight. So make it an extension of it, a life extension of the spotlight idea that would target projects and sub-projects with the lead up or not to a blog article, but it would be fine by itself as well. Yeah.
Like you could just take the recording and slap it somewhere and post that as a blog post, right? Like, hey, take a listen to this if you so choose. The possibilities are endless. Yes, we do. I mean, the Kate's contributor folks don't have a channel, but there is a Kubernetes channel. I have access to it, that kind of thing. YouTube, yes. Twitch, no. Well, no. Well, long story there.
But I do think there's a lot of good stuff to this idea. We could try it out as an experiment. There's no harm in failing,
I would like to put a little more thought and structure into it before we
Yeah,
just go off and do
definitely.
something. But yeah, totally. It's worth doing, I feel like.
We should reach out to the book club and see if they'd be interested.
I know Carlos would be all about it. That's for sure.
I love that idea.
Absolutely.
I'd want to join book club meetings on Twitter Spaces.
But you know, I wonder if he could, because he does, like, doesn't he do like meetings in Roccode's Discord or something like that? It'd be cool if he could do them at the same time.
Oh
maybe?
yeah, I don't know if there's a tool for doing that. Probably
Well, there
not.
is. It's called OBS.
Yeah, I feel like that'd be awkward though with these
potentially.
formats.
Yeah.
Because you
Potentially
can't
it
hear
would
the
be.
questions being asked on the other platform, probably.
Yeah, there's probably some stickies there.
Yeah. It's an idea.
Ideas. Yeah. Like I said.
What do you think, Avinash, of that as your thing as the event lead? You want
Yeah.
to explore it? Or is it not interesting?
No, it's obviously interesting idea. It's just that we need more structurizing things, right? In order to make
definitely.
it sustainable.
Avinash, if you want to set up a meeting with me next week, feel free to, right? Like I've done a lot of live streaming production already. We can definitely hammer out something together. And I'm more than happy to flex to your time zone.
Yep, let's do it then. I'll schedule one.
Cool.
Before we were going to talk about Twitter Spaces with you about event lead stuff. And when we didn't really have any ideas for what the event lead would do, we were saying maybe you should become a sub-project shadow. And as we were talking about that, we also said that I think we want to change the sub-project lead handbook, which that I have not done yet. I did make some updates in the repo, but
yeah,
did not do that one yet. But we want to update the sub-project role handbook to say that you should be a current lead in the sub-project in order to become a shadow for the sub-project lead position. So anyone who is a current lead, if you're interested in becoming a sub-project lead, let us know. We'd be more than happy to have you as a shadow.
Yeah, that's, I mean, if you're looking for a ladder, we need to build one and that's it. So yeah. Kazan and I had a, I don't know, brief, long, I don't know how to describe it, discussion about this, but yeah, like if you look at things right now, the ladder is kind of implied, not documented.
Clear.
So I would like to, put some documentation behind that so that folks understand. If you're a shadow, the expectation is you'll become a lead at some point, and those leads then become sub-project leads so that Haslin can go on and do her SIG ContribEx, SIG leadership thing as a full-time job as opposed to, I mean, I guess you would show up here sometimes too, just like Bob does, but yeah, or Bob did. Yeah, there's a ladder and it needs to be documented.
Yeah, I did update the README for our repo to clarify that shadow as a term in our group means that you are being mentored by a lead with the expectation that you will become that lead in the future. And I also removed the storytelling
that's some
part of the table. Nitish also offered to make this change, but I wanted to do it myself. But thank you, Nitish, for offering. We may yet need your help. I was just thinking earlier that I would love it if all of the leads, if you would go through your handbooks, your role handbooks, and add a section of clear shadow requirements. So what we have right now is we have the requirements to become a lead, which as we were thinking about it when we were building it, like that seemed sufficient because it's like a shadow becomes a lead, and it's also just what we needed. Yes. But really thinking about it, I think it makes sense to have a separate list of like, if you want to become a shadow, you should have done these things, kind of thing, which is a little bit different from the requirements of like being the lead, because some of those things you build as your shadow, or at least you can build as your shadow, but some of them you need to have before you apply to be a shadow. As if there's an application process aside from just ping. Maybe there should be an application process. I don't know. I don't think we're at that point yet, but
no, I don't think we're there yet. But you know, if we ever get to a point where we have enough people where it's like, hey, we need to vote, I'll be insanely happy.
Yeah. But so action item for all leads, Avinash and Frederico on this call. Please look at your role handbook and think about what you think shadow requirements should be and create a shadow requirements section and fill it up with what you think should be there.
Yep.
Our tech leads have been MIA
Okay.
for a while. So we might yet need help from other members of the group to fill that in for some of the lead positions. So let's check back in on that next week and see what progress we've made. So representatives who are here, who should do that, events lead, blogging lead, and sub-project lead, we count. We should update that as well.
Will do.
Events, blogging, etc. Cool. All right. So with that, that's all the updates and big wins that I have for today. Quite the list today. Any other updates and big wins that folks want to talk about?
Other than the Zapier account, did I mention that already or not? I forget. I'm
You
migrating.
mentioned it briefly at the beginning, but
Yes.
you could.
So let me just dive deeper. All the necessary account connections have been established as of this morning to do all the things that we need to do with Zapier. I'm going to be importing things from my account and Nigel's account today. So all that stuff will be in one place finally. And maybe we can actually look into GitHub to Twitter through Zapier now, since we have multi-action available and all those other things. Someone had some kind of demo. I forget who. Someone gave me a recipe at one point, but I don't know what happened to it. So I need to go dive through my discussions and figure that out.
All right.
Can I get some context to it? I think I'm missing something over here.
Yeah. So there's a lot of automation that needs to happen behind the scenes, and SIG ContribEx has a lot of meetings. You know, we have a lot of sub projects, a lot of meetings, so forth, so on. So whenever the SIG ContribEx Zoom account records a meeting to the cloud, it gets automatically stored in Google Drive and then, you know, titled and everything else in another job to push it from Drive to YouTube. So that's how these meetings end up on YouTube. And I've noticed that they're labeled as marketing meetings, not contributor comms meetings last week. So add another thing to the list of crap we need to fix. Yeah, so getting all these automations into one place has been a goal for a little bit. It's finally now capable, and now we can then, you know, start to look at replacing the whatever bot we used for GitHub and Twitter and use Zapier instead. Now that we have an official account with multi-step actions.
Yeah, Twitter together.
Yeah.
So this goes beyond just our group. Like the YouTube stuff is the YouTube admins that helps.
Like there's many reasons to have a lot of people accessing this account, and I just took the task to migrate everything into it.
Yeah, so this is something that helps lots of folks that we are one part of. Cool. So that's exciting progress. There's still lots of issues with the whole GitHub to Zapier workflow, but at least this enables us to explore it more, I guess.
We can now at least give it a whirl in a meaningful way.
Cool. Any other updates, big wins?
Trying to think. Let me look back.
I think if there were any new items, they would have been brought up in all of that, but new items also.
Yeah.
Anyone have any new items that they wanted to discuss?
Oh, did y'all meet my dog yet?
That is a new item that I am interested in.
Okay. It might not be meeting ready, but yeah.
I did see the dog on some meeting and it is incredibly adorable, but
yes, may not
would be interested.
She's sleeping, so I'm going to interrupt her.
I don't know if you all noticed the cat walking through earlier, but one of the cats said hello earlier.
Hello, Luna.
It's so cute.
Hey, sleepy pup. I'm still sleeping. Yep, still asleep.
Oh,
This is
tiny
how much
baby.
she trusts me. She didn't wake up when I picked her up. Pretty cool. All right,
Perfect.
buddy. How are you? You're a good girl. Say goodbye. Say,
Bye bye.
"Aw."
Back to
Yeah.
sleep.
Yeah. Maybe
Oh
she'll
no,
just
now
sleep
she's
up here.
asleep on
Yep.
you. Okay,
Yep.
well,
Yep.
that's
I'm
that's
stuck.
what's happening now.
Mhm. This is happening. There's been a lot of that lately. There was a pair of like jogging pants that I wore one cold morning, and for whatever reason, of all the pants I own, these are the only pants she would just like not stop biting.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm just like, they're yours now.
Animals do that.
Yeah.
Yep.
She chews on everything. I've had to completely like baby proof the office essentially.
Alita went through a phase where she attacked pants.
Mhm.
It was weird. Anyway, all right. I think that means that we're done with this stuff. Let's go over to the table. And by table, I mean board. Because the board is awesome. Continued thanks to Federico.
I just pressed the button. So I don't...
Mush buttons.
Still excited about it.
I've actually
All right.
updated it recently as well with the update on the SIG architecture stuff. So
Yay. Awesome. We can start there then.
Mm.
oh yeah, perfect. So I've actually updated the issue itself just to confirm, and I didn't add links because the documents have that the links are for the editors, so everyone that clicks on them can change the documents. But all the different 5 sub-projects are working on the answers. Which let me if I can remember, it's code organization, API governance, production readiness, enhancements, and conformance testing. At least this that I remember. I think I'm forgetting someone, but at least so there are. It's like they are 5 different spotlights, each one with a set of questions, and they are currently being worked on. So I still not ready, but being worked on. And in the end, I will likely also speak with them and others to add just a couple of questions at the SIG architecture level, just to do like the Lebowski rug to really tie the room together, like to tie the different sub projects together. So that's the status of the SIG architecture 1.
Cool. I'm really excited to see how this experiment goes. We haven't done like the sub project level spotlights before, and that was a conversation that came up in the last couple of weeks. So I'm excited to see how it goes.
Yeah. So am I. If we get all the answers for them, it can actually be quite interesting, because it will be like this sort of mega spotlight thing that really goes into the different aspects of SIG architecture. So I'm curious to see what we can do with this.
Yeah, we will see how it goes. So let's talk about more spotlights. I realize that there are a ton of spotlights in progress. Hopefully you all haven't made too much progress, because we only have 14 minutes left. Nitish, do you want to talk about yours?
Yes, so the first one I'm going to talk about is the SIG release. I drafted the questions after the exams are over, created the group with the co-chairs. Everyone liked the idea, and I got a response back that they will definitely answer the question that have been created for the docs. So I'm just waiting for the response to the questions and looking forward to reframe a log out of it. Yeah.
Wonderful. Cool. So questions have been created and shared, just waiting for responses, right?
Correct. Yes.
that waiting part, it takes forever, which many of us have experienced as we've done our own SIG spotlights, like the SIG ContribEx one. That one's just so slow, isn't it, Fika? I think Fika is on. We had discussed, yeah. So Fika has sent the questions over. But I was out last weekend because my parents or my partner's parents were visiting. And then my parents are going to be visiting starting on Wednesday. So I should probably try to get some answers done for you before they show up. So progress is being made on the ContribEx one. Well, progress has not been made on the ContribEx one, but hopefully will be made in the near future. Very amused by this. So some questions are out. I also wanted to try to engage with some of the other ContribEx leads. One of the other ContribEx co-chair has been traveling also, so it's not just me, I could say. So I need to reach out to the other co-chair and get that going. Other co-chair as well. I think it's nice to have a variety of perspectives. Also the tech leads for SIG ContribEx are so on point. Priyanka and Madhu, they are killing it. So we should also engage with them. So you've already sent me questions. I just need to add them for you, or you're welcome to reach out to them. And like I said, I want to try to get at least some answers going on that before Wednesday. So that's my plan. Any other updates you want to share, Fika, about the SIG ContribEx one?
No.
Cool. Sounds good. Thank you for pinging me on Slack about that. I need the reminders, so I appreciate that. Good practice for SIG spotlights. All right, who's next? Arpit, I think you were going to work on a SIG spotlight. Were you working on the CLI one? Did I remember it right? Yeah, I remembered. The last update I have for you is interview complete, working on draft. You were in exams. So is that still the status? Oh, are you talking, but I can't hear you? Is it just me?
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
not
I can't
audible.
hear. No,
Okay.
I had to double.
You can
check
also
my settings.
ping in the chat and I'll read aloud for you if you're having audio issues. It's funny that you have your video working, but the audio is not working.
Yeah, of all the things to fail.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's common, but cool. We can come back to that. I see that you pinged earlier about helping with the blog. That's good. Oh no, Avnish pinged earlier about helping with the blog. Arpit said they'll be about waiting for a week. You've started working on the first draft. Good update.
Right.
Which is what I already have here, so I'm just going to leave that. Yeah. Accurate as of June 2nd. That works for an update, just to, yeah, have it say that we updated it. Very good. Other spotlights. Node, Nitish, you're working on 2 spotlights. What are you doing with your life?
Yes, I wanted to discuss regarding the same SIG-Node. I think I personally observed this one, and I think at this moment I wanted to focus on the the SIG release as of more specific because it consists of 2 blocks. So if I consider the SIG node, it's going to be 3 at a time. And I personally think that it would be very difficult to manage all the 3 at the same time. So if anyone is wants to take up the SIG spotlight block for the SIG node, he or she can. Otherwise, I'll take a look and try writing a block for the same. Yes.
It's funny that I made a joke about it being too much work, and then you were like, yeah, it's too much work. Cool. So if anyone, I think everyone has other stuff that they're doing. So it might just sit on the back burner for a little bit, and that's okay too.
That's okay.
It can go both ways. But thank you for getting that started and kind of keeping an eye on it. Might be paused for now. That's a-okay. And
Are
you
the
said that,
questionnaires?
Yeah.
I was asking if the questionnaires were sent. What's the?
I was about to
status
ask
of
that
it?
too.
The question for the SIG node, is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Oh, the question needs to be drafted. But I have just like taken up some of the conclusions, read about it. The question needs to be drafted. That is it.
Cool. So you have like some notes about what you think you want to ask about, just not actual questions.
Correct. I researched about the SIG node. I have just draft equations. Yeah.
Okay. If you got that done, you could send it over to them and pretend that it's their fault.
I'll definitely do that then.
I think it's a good way to do it. If you can find the time. If you don't, it's fine. We're all volunteers. It happens. Cool. And also you mentioned notes. If you have like a link to some notes about SIG-Node that might be helpful in drafting questions, we could share that among the group. And if someone happens to get to it, that'd be lovely.
Sure. I'll do that for the SIG. Yes.
Sounds good. All right. Any other SIG spotlights in progress? So the Kept Reading Club no longer exists, but the book reading club is still on the table, right?
Yeah, the book reading club and the contributor summit piece that I've been Noah about. Yeah, to do an interview. That one I'm waiting for some feedback. For the book club, I still haven't sent the questions, but I do have them mostly ready. So it should be on Carlos' side somewhere in the next couple of days.
Okay, so there's progress being made on that. Oh, Arpit said that he's up for helping you, Nitish, on the SIG-Node one. Make sure you connect on that. Thank you, Arpit. And I made an item on the board for the spotlight on the contributor summit. Does this look right? Should book reading club be in progress? Probably, right? Sounds like
Put it in progress, yes.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Sounds good. All right. Other things in progress beyond spotlights. Add all use cases for Zapier automation.
And
we don't have to necessarily use this specific one, but there are other things going on with Zapier. Do you want to adjust the board at all for Zapier stuff going
on? We should probably just say split the 2 mentions of tasks in there kind of thing. But yeah, I'll create an issue in our repo to migrate stuff, and we'll track that there.
You could create the issue from the board item.
I know, like that's basically so like I'll take that out of the board item and then create a new thing.
I sent the link to the board. You can do whatever you'd like.
Much obliged.
Add Chris's notes about adminning to the documentation. Maybe we should work on that together as we get the shadow stuff updated.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a good opportunity to do that. Oh, I don't have an item on the table for that, board for that. I'm gonna call it the table now. Update roles with shadow. Details. Does that sound like a good item for that? I should have made them individual, shouldn't I? Should I make them individual?
Your call.
I'm gonna make it individual. That way, each lead gets something to move on the board. Events lead shadow requirements. Subproject lead shadow requirements. Blogging lead shadow requirements. Tech lead shadow requirements. What am I missing? I'll figure it out later. Cool. So we now have all of those. I have them all as in progress. I'll put tech in to do because they are not here and I don't know that they know about this whole thing. So we might have to assign that to somebody else. The rest of us are at least aware and we'll probably be making progress on that. I believe.
I'll take the tech lead shadow as well.
You want to do that?
That is
cool.
Yeah, I'll do that.
I'm cool with that. Excellent. Thank you very much. What other things do we have? Update contributor comms GitHub team, maybe someday. We have 1 minute left, so it's time to rush through these. Update storytelling resources to blogging resources. Federico, reminder on that. Migrate various Zapier jobs to new contributors at account. So you do have that on there. Wonderful. Promote new contributor workshop content. Still waiting. Comms guidelines for sensitive security topics, maybe someday. I guess I should put that over there, huh? For that. There we go. I'm putting that over here. Moving backwards. Retrospective on registry comms. Do you want to leave it in to do? Or do you want to move it to won't fix?
I mean, I think it went well. Does anybody have like any red flags about the registry blog or the registry announcement and how it went? Like one red flag I got was many people I know that are like Kubernetes users didn't see this. They knew about it when their cloud provider told them about it, kind of thing. So that's interesting.
Maybe that is something that we need to work on within the contributor community, is making sure that we have folks within the companies ready to help make sure comms go out on these things.
Yeah, like actual reps that we can go to and be like, hey, y'all need to write something about this ASAP for your customers, kind of thing.
Yeah, many users only hear about it from their cloud providers. That's a good point. We did it. Retrospective on registry. No, we are already a minute over. Chris, I think you said you had another meeting, right?
I do. So I'm going to jump to that. Thank you.
Cool. So I'll leave that there for now. Notify comms team when a new issue is created. Yeah. Slackbot still broken. We talked about that several times. That's getting a little urgent. Maybe we should actually try to work on that. And aside from that, I think we're good to go. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining today. Anything else? I don't have another meeting, so I can hang out for a few minutes. What did you?
I need to drop as well. So
okay.
Have a great weekend.
Good to see you.
Bye-bye. Likewise.
Bye. What did you mention about scattered work on the blog, Avinash? Sorry.
So when we were doing the registry comms, there were typically about the blogs or content creation. There were places like twice. I remember that there were 3 places where blogs were written and all the documentations were here. Federico was, jumping over documentations and he was sketching up those things. So maybe a structurized manner of handling that thing could be something that we could think of.
That's a good point. We don't really have strong or clear processes about things that need to go to multiple channels. We just kind of handle it, which maybe is the process, but maybe we should think about clarity on that. Good point. All right. Someone else was going to say something. Sorry, I interrupted. Cool.
Am I audible now?
Yes,
Yeah.
I can hear
I
you.
have a doubt regarding the sub-project lead schedule. Like, I am not the member of the KATE means Kubernetes. So can I apply to that, or I need to fulfill some specific requirements to become
Yes,
the
so we're going to be updating that because we've been having these conversations in these meetings. A requirement for becoming a sub-project lead is going to be a different lead first. So if you are interested in climbing up the ladder as a contributor, we'd recommend going for events or blogging or tech leadership instead of sub-project leadership for now. Does that make sense?
I have actually worked previously as an intern for transcribing blogs and all, like the YouTube videos. So I have some experience that can be helpful in Twitter Spaces project. So if for that something like for social media lead,
Oh
if
yeah,
that role
social
is
media
open
lead.
for
That's
me,
the other one.
so I am interested for it.
Perfect. I am the social media lead. So let's
So
chat
I
more
can.
over Slack. We'll figure out a good lead position for you to shadow based on your experiences. I'm adding that to the table. Hey, it's better than not having leads. I like that we have the opportunity for folks to have these positions now. We're figuring it all out as we go. Feedback always welcome. Cool. Thank you very much, Arpit, for asking that. Any other questions or discussions that folks want to have before I stop the recording? That's good. I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording. Bye, YouTube.